There is no place for ego in trading. Check your ego at the door. You are here to trade a process. That's all. The market doesn't care about your need to prove anything. Stay humble. Keep the possibility of being wrong in the forefront of your mind. Hey there, Tamir from Fibonaccis-Traders.com here with the daily market recap. Please hit the like and subscribe, will be much appreciated. And without further ado, let's see the charts. SPY daily finally breaking up above and most importantly closing above this major trend line, this yellow trend line. If you're following me here and on Twitter, you know that we have our eyes on this major trend line that started over January of 2022. Major steep downtrend. Now, finally, breaking up above and the morning gap got filled. As we said on Discord and on Twitter, this gap will get filled and we will get a bounce. Now let's see on the weekly, zoom out to get a better point of view on price action. And as we can see, since January of 2022, each and every time price reached this trend line, it got rejected. But if nothing special will happen tomorrow on Friday, this week will close above this trend line. Now we can take Fibonacci swing low, swing high. Next major resistance on the weekly will be the 410, breaking up and above. In my opinion, 454 will be the next major resistance for price action. Always follow price, use the levels and trend lines to manage risk. No other indicator are truly needed. QQQ, let's take it on the daily first. Continuation to the upside after breaking up above, retested, and now above the 288. Next resistance will be the 297 area. This major trend line finally got broken up above, and we have continuation to the upside. Now Fibonacci levels coming into the game. Swing low, swing high, 297. Above it we have 308, 322. Let's see continuation on the Qs to the upside. All we need to do is following price and use the levels to the upside for possible future resistance and managing the risk with the levels to the downside. Dow Jones also bounced off the 330 area. Now finally closing above the 338. As we said, this 338 area was a very strong support. Then it acted as resistance and now finally closing above it. Let's see continuation on the weekly. We still have an inside week on the Dow Jones. Still have the potential double top of the 345. We need a weekly close above the 345. Most probably it will not happen this week, maybe next week, but keep all possibilities on the table. Never be biased. Always prepare for both sides. Now on the Dow Jones, we see 333 area is a very important support, and 345 is a very strong resistance, and we have inside week. In my opinion, this week will not close above previous week's high, so we will have inside week on the Dow Jones. IWM first on the daily, we can see clearly failing to break up above and closing above the 190 area. The 190 area is a very strong resistance for price on the IWM during 2022, especially since last September. Each and every time price reached the 190, it got rejected, and also now tried and failed back below the 190. If we zoom out on the weekly, easing the noise from the daily chart, 190, very important resistance for price, and the IWM bulls are having a tough time to break up above and closing above it. Let's see what Friday will bring us. Bitcoin, Doji on the daily and the weekly, sorry, after breaking last week, breaking above this trend line this week. For now, it's a Doji indecision candle. If we zoom in on the daily, this is how the Bitcoin looks in the past several days. Nothing much, bouncing between the 22,300 and the 23,500. So keep your eyes on the Bitcoin. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think where Bitcoin is heading? Above the 23,500 towards the 26, or below this red trend line towards the 21,500 to retest this level as support, because it was a very strong resistance in the not so far past. SMH on the daily, continuation to the upside. Let's see continuation all the way towards this white trend line. Looking left, this white trend line is holding as resistance for the higher highs since September of 2022. Every time price reached, it got rejected. Now it doesn't have to be exactly to the point. It just needs to give us general idea, general area of support to the downside and resistance to the upside. So let's see SMH on the weekly. Very strong sentiment during the past 3-4 weeks on SMH, closing above the 230. This 230 support, resistance, closing above 250 is the next major resistance for price on SMH. XLF on the weekly. Let's see if bulls of XLF can finally break and close above the 36.55. As we can see, this area of the 36.60, 36.50 is a very important support, resistance, and now in the past 3 weeks, XLF is holding above the 35, but 36.60 overhead. Can bulls close up and above? Failing to do so, we also need to prepare for the other side. The other side, we have a potential double top. So if XLF bulls will give up trying to break up and above the 36.50, we have a double top scenario. So always prepare for both sides. And again, never be biased. No one knows what will happen next, but we need to prepare for both sides. This is why we follow price and use levels to manage the risk. Apple, 7 days until Apple's earnings, but for now Apple is looking strong bullish sentiment since recent close here in the 124 all the way now 144, managing to stay above this trend line. Let's see, break above 144 to the upside. 150 is the next level of resistance. On the weekly, we can see, as I posted on Twitter, so you are most welcome to follow me on Twitter, where I post daily, weekly, day trading ideas. We have the big trend line and an inside channel within a channel. Let's see a break up and above this channel, maybe towards this trend line over here. Zooming in and zooming out always gives us a better point of view on price action. AMD once again trying and going back below this trend line. So I'm waiting on AMD to break above, closing above this white trend line, and prefer also a weekly close above the 79. Zooming out, AMD weekly still inside a very steep downtrend, and as we can see, this yellow downtrend line, which started over November of 2021, each and every time price reached, it got rejected, and also now, for now, it's failing to break above this trend line. NVDA with a very strong bullish sentiment. And again, if you are following me here and on Twitter, you recognize these trend lines, and as we always say, trend lines are the true support and resistance for price action. And now we got ourselves a doji inside this area of trend lines. On the weekly, very strong break up and above the weekly trend line. 2 weeks above this trend line. Some pullback will be healthy for NVIDIA, maybe going back, retesting this trend line as support around the 167, 170 area. Next earning on NVIDIA is Wednesday, February 22. Keep your eyes on NVIDIA. Bullish sentiment breaking up and above the 190 level. This level was a very strong resistance and a very important support. Now price broke up and above. Some pullback will be healthy, maybe before earnings and before the next leg up all the way to 267, in my opinion. Everything you see and hear on this video and on other videos on my channel is for educational purposes only. Never follow blindly anyone on social media, YouTube, Twitter, Discord, any social media, paid or free services. Always do your own due diligence. Netflix. Once again, if you're following me on Twitter and you saw my videos here in the past several weeks, we said that this red trend line will be a tough one for Netflix bulls, and as we can see, since Monday, price is trying and failing for now to break up above and close above this red trend line. Watch out, if bulls will give up on this trend line, we might see a pullback on Netflix all the way to this gap here at the 325 area, because we know more than 80% of all gaps will get filled throughout time. So watch Netflix bulls, what are they preparing, and if they have enough power in their hands to close a weekly close above the 370, and maybe by the end of January, not by the end of January, but maybe by the end of February, we can get towards the 400. Shopify. Shopify bulls are not giving up, trying to break above the 49.50 area, and this white trend line gives Shopify bulls a hard time. On the weekly time frame, we can clearly see 59.60, 50 area is a very tough resistance, very important level. I'm waiting for a weekly close above it, and if you're a pattern trader, we can clearly see this pattern. Some people call it inverted head and shoulders, some will see cup and handle. It doesn't matter the pattern. The most important thing is price action. And now we can see October low, and we have this December, January higher low breaking above the 43 area, which was very strong resistance. We do have here this gap to the downside at the 41, so keep your eyes, and reminder that more than 80% of all gaps will get filled. The sooner the better. Amazon on the daily finally managing to break up above and close above the 98 area. Amazon February 2nd earnings. Let's see continuation to the upside before the earnings, and we can see we have this trend line over here, and we have this trend line over here, and here we have a broadening formation. Check the links in the description below, and check my how-to playlist. Several videos, 15 minutes and less, on how to become a better trader each and every day. Amazon on the daily, on the weekly, we have 2 consecutive dojis, 93 needs to hold, and we have this gap from the daily that needs to get filled. Microsoft is next. Microsoft finally breaking above this major trend line, but cautious, because if we look left, we can see that in the past several times, once price of Microsoft broke up and above this trend line, it got back below. So zoom out, we can see that we have on the weekly, we have this major yellow trend line. So wait until a break up and above this yellow trend line, preferably above also the 260, because this 260 was a very important support and resistance area for price action. Trade the chart, not the FOMO. Still have a lot to give to the upside on Microsoft, and we have a double bottom scenario, on Microsoft. So wait until a break up and above, and then we might get a validation for this double bottom scenario towards the 294. Tesla bulls came in full power after earnings, but we have a doji and a gap to the downside. And as we know, a doji is the #1 signal of indecision in price action, and we have a gap to the downside at the 147 area. So I would wait to see where Tesla bulls or bears will take the price. And again, trade the chart, not the FOMO. Still have a lot to give. If Tesla will continue to the upside, the potential is at least the 390 area. So even if we take long above the 170 all the way to 390, maybe it's a long way. Also all the way to 300 is a long way. So don't trade a FOMO, control the FOMO. Check the chart. What is the price action telling you? It broke above this orange trend line, above this triangle, the ascending triangle. But we do have two signals that we need to pay attention. Doji, indecision, and a gap to the downside. And we know that more than 80% of all gaps will get filled throughout time. So even if we have this breakup, I'm waiting on the sidelines, still waiting, because I know that this gap will get filled. And on the weekly, we do have a very strong break to the upside above the 156. Next major resistance will be the 180. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, will be much appreciated. And don't forget to check my how to playlist, several videos, 20 minutes or less, short and to the point videos on how we can all become better traders each and every day. And the newest edition is how to control your ego in trading, trading psychology, 12 minutes on how ego affects us and how we can deal with ego. Thank you very much for watching. Until the next video, stay safe.